Hello there guys, welcome to one of my live videos, and on this video there is lots to negotiate about. So first topic I'm going to delve into is that I am going to give you a review on Manchester United's season up until it got suspended, and of course the Premier League and that has been suspended since the 9th of March, so it has been suspended for over a month. I was supposed to be giving you a review on Manchester United season on my previous video that I did earlier on today, but of course I didn't really have time to do it because on my previous video I give you Manchester United's best formation, and I also give you a review on Manchester United's squad. So I apologise for not giving you a review on Manchester United season. I will be doing it now on this video, and then after that, if I have got time, I will delve into some transfer news. I'll give you a bit of news on Eduardo Camavinga from Rennes. Also too, if I've got time, I'll talk with you a bit more about Jadon Sancho and that. And if there's more time, then I'll delve into some other transfer news. So let me give you a review now on Manchester United season. So analysing it, we have enjoyed our worst start ever to a Premier League season. We have enjoyed our worst start to a season for around 30 years. And, analysing it for the vast majority of this season, we have been very, very inconsistent. And, reflecting on how inconsistent we have been, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has been under a lot of pressure at the football club. Of course, his job has been in scrutiny, as I think he's aware of. Now, obviously, we've had a lot of bad results throughout the course of this season. I think, we've just drawn too many games. There's games that we've lost that we shouldn't have lost. Of course, we lost to Newcastle earlier on in the season. We lost to West Ham 2-0. We drew with Southampton. We lost at home to Crystal Palace 2-1. We lost at home to Burnley back in January. So we've had a lot of bad results throughout the course of this season. But I've got to, make an admission, because I think Solskjaer's approach to the big games have actually, been very, very good. Like I said, he showed a lot of tactical flexibility against the big sides. We've taken like 17 points against the big six sides this season. Of course, we've beaten Manchester City 3 times this season. Solskjaer has become the first manager in history to beat Pep Guardiola 3 times in one season, so that's good in that aspect. Also, too, we've beaten Chelsea 3 times this season. So Solskjaer has beaten Frank Lampard 3 times as a manager. We also drew with Liverpool earlier on in the season. I think, we actually lost to Arsenal and drew with Arsenal. Also, too, we beat Tottenham earlier on in the season. So that's something that has improved this season, our record against the big six sides. So that is definitely, a positive you can take. And obviously, when the football season does eventually resume, Solskjaer, will be under pressure, to keep this good run of form up. And another positive is before the football season was suspended due to the coronavirus pandemic, we was in a good vein of form, because we are unbeaten in our last 11 games in all competitions, and it is our best vein of form since Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was the interim manager. So that is a positive you can take. But we have been inconsistent for the vast majority of this season, like I've mentioned. But I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer does deserve more time at the football club, definitely. Now, obviously, Solskjaer has recruited 5 players into Manchester United, in 3 transfer windows. Obviously, Solskjaer didn't recommend anyone in his first transfer window, but in the 2 previous windows, he has recruited 5 players in. Now, last summer, Solskjaer recruited Daniel James in. That was the first signing he made. Obviously, he brought Wan-Bissaka in. He brought Harry Maguire in. And in January, he brought Bruno Fernandes and Odion Ighalo in. And, I've got to say, Solskjaer did have a successful January transfer window and that. Because, like I've said to Bruno Fernandes, has been making the difference in the team. enjoyed a good start to his Man United career. Also, too, Odion Ighalo has enjoyed a fantastic start to his Manchester United career. And I think, if Solskjaer hadn't been a club legend, let's disregard that. You could arguably say that Solskjaer would have been sacked by now, to be quite honest with you. But, with him being a club legend, I just think, we have softened our stance on him. Now, there's a couple of main explanations what saved Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's job. And I've got to say, the signing of Bruno Fernandes saved Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's job. That's one of the main explanations. Also, too, I think the 6-0 win against Tranmere, that also, too, saved Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's job. Because obviously, reports were emerging out before that game saying if we hadn't gotten anything off Tranmere, Solskjaer would have been sacked by Manchester United and that. So there you go. Also, too, he has got rid of a lot of the deadwood, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, since he's come into the football club. Don't forget, a total of 9 players have left Manchester United since he got recommended in. Of course, Fellaini was the first player to leave Manchester United under the Solskjaer era, but he went back in January 2019. Fellaini did endure 6 years at the football club. Of course, we got rid of Ander Herrera last summer after he endured 5 years at Manchester United. We have not yet got that adequate replacement for Ander Herrera. We also let Valencia leave last summer after he endured 10 years at the football club. We also, let Ashley Young leave this year after he endured 8.5 years at the football club. We also, let Smalling and Rojo go out on loan. Don't forget, I think we'll be looking to get rid of them on permanent transfers. Also, we got rid of Matteo Darmian last summer. Romelu Lukaku went. And of course, we loaned Alexis Sanchez out and Dean Henderson is out on loan. So, a lot of players have left since Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's arrival and that. Yeah, but like I said, we have had a lot of bad results, throughout the course of this season. But, we've also had some very, very good results. We've had some big wins as well. Obviously, the 6-0 win against Tranmere was good. The 5-0 win against Lask, obviously, before all the football to be cancelled because of the coronavirus. Obviously, the 5-0 win against Club Brugge in the previous round of the Europa League. 4-1 win against Newcastle on Boxing Day. 4-0 win against Chelsea on the opening day of the Premier League season. So we have had some big wins under the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer era. Of course, the 5-1 win against Cardiff. That was obviously not Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's first game as Manchester United manager. So yeah, we have had some good results under his guidance. I've also got to make an admission, Solskjaer has promoted the youth very, very well throughout the course of this season because Solskjaer did confirm at the start of this season, he said, the young players would get their chances to express themselves. But overall, when he first came in anyway, he said, all the players would get their chances to express themselves. I've got to make an admission, Mason Greenwood's been a revelation for Man United this season. Also, too, Brandon Williams has done really, really well. Still won't put him as our first choice left back though because obviously Luke Shaw's our first choice left back and obviously Luke Shaw's a lot more experienced. Brandon Williams is still a bit inexperienced at the moment. Tuanzebe did well earlier on in the season. Diego Dalot, like I said on my last video, don't really have a perception on Diego Dalot because hasn't really been given his opportunities at Manchester United. He's only made one start in the Premier League this season. Don't forget, these rumours saying he could possibly leave the football club. It says PSG and that have expressed an interest in him. We want in the £30-odd million range for Dalot. Dalot is a backup to Anwan Bissaka. We paid £19 million for Dalot from Porto in the summer of 2018. It also mentions that Tottenham are in for the player. James Garner, I expect him to get more opportunities next season. Chong, I expect him to get more opportunities next season. I think Angel Gomez is the foreseeable future for Manchester United if we can get him a new contract at the football club. There has been rumours saying, we're going to give Angel Gomez a 2-year contract at Manchester United. But there has been a lot of uncertainty over Angel Gomez's future, and that's why he's seldom played this season under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's guidance. So, yeah, we have got a very, very good reputation of promoting the youth. Also, too, I've got to credit Solskjaer because he has, progressed us to the last 8 of the Europa League. He's also, progressed us to the quarterfinals of the FA Cup, and take into account that's a chance of us chance of us getting some silverware on the board, is the Europa League and the FA Cup. So there are two ambitions for Manchester United. Obviously, as it stands at the moment, we are sitting fifth. We are sitting fifth in the Premier League. We are like 3 points behind Chelsea. So as it stands at the moment, we are in the Champions League place, because obviously, Manchester City are banned from the Champions League for the next 2 seasons. Manchester City are banned from the Champions League. City have appealed against the decision, but the appeal is a long process, don't forget. So there you go. But yeah, definitely the season's going to be resuming within weeks. Like I said, they haven't given an exact date yet of the Premier League. It's just going to resume within weeks. Games will be played behind closed doors, but games could be shown free on television, obviously, with them being played behind closed doors and that. So the good news is, the season is resuming. But like I've said to you, you saw my last video I did, and I give you a squad review, didn't I? And I think there's quite a lot of players that have played well for Manchester United throughout the course of this season. This is obviously on my season review as well. I think Rashford, was one of our best players earlier on in the season before he got a back injury. Obviously, Marcus Rashford has been out with a back injury since our win against Wolves in the FA Cup. Since I went against Wolves in the FA Cup, Rashford's been out with this back injury. Obviously, he has been training at home whilst on coronavirus lockdown, but obviously he prefers to train at the training ground. But, he has been a big miss as Marcus Rashford, but I think he's going to be fully fit when the football season does eventually resume, because Rashford's been a big miss for us. I've got to say as well, Paul Pogba has also been a big miss for Manchester United. Like I said, Rashford's got 19 goals in 31 games for the football club in all competitions this season. Over 60-odd senior goals for Manchester United in just over 200 appearances. This is since he broke into the senior squad back in 2016. But I think since that point, he has become an integral part of our team as Rashford. And up until this point, Rashford has spent the entirety of his career with the club. He has been a United player since the age of 7. And of course, Rashford can play as number 9 and he can play out wide. But I think, we'll put him out wide when he comes back, because that's where he's more effective, Marcus Rashford, to be quite honest with you. I think, before the football season got suspended, I thought, Anthony Martial, he did really, really well. He rejuvenated himself. I think we'll probably keep Anthony Martial in that central position, even though he predominantly plays out wide on the left, Anthony Martial. I think Martial is a foreseeable future for Man United, even though he has been subjected to transfer speculation in the past. You've got Martial now that's into his 5th season at the football club, of course. I think one of the best seasons Anthony Martial enjoyed was his debut season under the Louis van Gaal era. When we got Martial as a 19-year-old. He's now, of course, 24 years of age. We paid £36 million for Martial, potentially rising up to 57 or 58 million based on goals and achievements and that. But a lot of players, have really, really improved under Solskjaer. And like I've said, I've seen some changes under Solskjaer. I think his change of tactics, the personnel's also changed. He's getting the best out of the players, which is good. Because like I said before, the likes of Martial, Luke Shaw, Pogba, Fred, all endured very, very difficult times under the Jose Mourinho era. And, Martial and Shaw and Pogba, had really, really bad relationships with Jose Mourinho, to be quite honest with you. But obviously, I've been very impressed with Fred throughout the course of this season. I've been impressed with Scott McTominay. He was injured for quite a while. Pogba don't really have a perception on him because his appearances have been limited this season. He's only played 8 times this season for Manchester United as Paul Pogba. Like I said, I've been impressed, with the signings that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has recommended in. The players I've been infuriated with. Jesse Lingard, he's been very, very inconsistent. Andres Pereira, has also been very, very poor. Phil Jones, doesn't even really get in the team. Doesn't get in the team at all, because obviously we've got a lot of centre-halves in the team, and that you've got Maguire and Lindelof that are our first-choice centre-halves, and you've got Bay and Tuanzebe that are our backup centre-halves and that, and we have got a hell of a lot of centre-halves in the team, definitely. Like I said to you on my recent video, I still don't think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer knows his best formation as yet, and I think, Manchester United's best formation is that 3-5-2 formation, because we look more expansive with that 3-5-2 formation. When we've gone with that three at the back, we seem to have, won games and, dominated games. So let's just put that into the equation. But on a regular basis this season, Solskjaer's been going with that 4-2-3. Solskjaer's been going with that 4-2-3-1 formation. No, I think Mike Phelan's come out and outlined the reasons, why Solskjaer's been changing formation and that. Obviously, I think Mike Phelan likes the 4-3-3 and he also likes the 3-4-3, which is actually, very, very rare and stuff like that. But yeah, so that's my review on the season. So what we've got to do is, Solskjaer's got to address his best formation. He's got to improve his approach against the lower opposition, because we haven't been so good against lower opposition this season, to be quite honest with you. So yeah, that's really it. And also too, a lot of players' contracts have been extended since Solskjaer came in, so you can also say that's another positive. A lot of players' contracts have been extended, like I mentioned. But I also want to put into the equation, I think I mentioned this to you recently, that we've got 9 players' contracts that are due to expire in the summer of 2021, which is next year. And I think that's Pogba, he's got exactly a year left in his contract, Matic, Romero, Lee Grant, Juan Mata, and I think there's a few others, that I haven't mentioned. But yeah, 9 players' contracts are due to expire in the summer of 2021. Now, Solskjaer has been at Manchester United now for 16 months, so he has been at the football club over the year. And like I said, he definitely deserves at least a couple of more transfer windows at Manchester United. Solskjaer has been permanent Manchester United manager as well for over a year. The main explanation why we give Solskjaer the job on a permanent basis was reflecting on, what he did when he was the interim manager, because he did really, really well in that 3-month period when he was the interim manager. Don't forget Solskjaer won his first 8 games. He only lost one of his first 17, and he won 14 out of 19 in all competitions. So that was enough, to give him the job on a permanent basis. And of course, he did sign a 3-year contract. Obviously, now he's been at the club over a year. He's got 2 years remaining on his contract. I'm still very, very sceptical that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is the foreseeable future for Manchester United. And still a lot of Manchester United fans do doubt that, we can win our 21st title under the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer era. But it is a transition period, and Solskjaer is hopeful that we can get through this transition period and that. And obviously, he'll be given another season at Manchester United. Then he knows he'll have, much bigger expectations to exceed. Because, if we recruit the right calibre players in when the transfer market does reopen, I think, we'll be expected to challenge for the title next season. Now, it is very, very good, that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has revealed his plans for when the transfer market does reopen. Solskjaer knows he's got the backing of Ed Woodward, and he's also got the backing of the Glazers. I like what Ole Gunnar Solskjaer said the other week, to be fair, because he said, we will exploit the transfer market when it does reopen. So he believes, we can get the right players in. So he believes, we will exploit the transfer market. And I've got to say, I think we have improved in the transfer market under Solskjaer. What I mean is, I think we have been a bit more sensible with our recruitment and stuff like that. Because, like I mentioned, we've recruited over 30-odd players in since the Alex Ferguson era. And spent close to the £1 billion range on players. We got the likes of Fellaini and Juan Mata in under Moyes. Fellaini's no longer here now. Louis van Gaal brought players like Di Maria, Memphis Depay, Schweinsteiger, Schneiderlin, Falcao, Daley Blind, Rojo, Darmian. Louis van Gaal, brought a hell of a lot of players in, but he also got rid of a hell of a lot of players. He got rid of a lot of the players that we had under the Alex Ferguson era, don't forget. But, yeah. And under Jose Mourinho, Jose Mourinho recruited 11 players into the football club. Now, put into the equation, Solskjaer is inheriting the vast majority of Jose Mourinho's players. So yeah, so a hell of a lot of players have been recruited in the last 6 or 7 years. But we've been criticised, because our recruitment policy's been poor for the last 6 or 7 years, and we've also, been criticised for overpaying for players. Obviously, in recent years, we paid 75 million for Lukaku, 89 million for Pogba, 50 million for Fred, 40 million pounds for Nemanja Matic, 80 million pounds for Harry Maguire. So we have, been criticised for that. But we have improved in the transfer market under Solskjaer. Yes, we have in that. And I think, we have got a good 9 or 10 players on our agenda who we could go in for when the transfer market does reopen. But Solskjaer has identified the areas where he thinks Manchester United need to strengthen up. He thinks we need to definitely get a centre forward in. He's looking to get a right winger in, and he's also in search for a central or a holding midfielder. There's still some reports emerging out saying that he wants to get a centre half in. I don't think, Manchester United will get a centre half when the transfer market does reopen that. But Solskjaer believes we need around 4 signings to become title contenders next season. And don't forget, he still wants to continue the policy of recruiting young players to Manchester United like he did do last summer. Now, obviously, I updated you on the news, didn't I, regarding Ed Woodward yesterday, because Ed Woodward insists we may not do business as usual in the summer transfer market. So what it means in that aspect is that, we won't be spending hundreds of millions of pounds on players. So what he's basically done is Ed Woodward, he has ruled big transfers to Manchester United out. And he confirmed this on a fans forum on Friday. So reflecting on what Ed Woodward recently said, Jadon Sancho now to Man United could be in doubt, like I said. Also, too, Jack Grealish could be in doubt to Manchester United. So, who are Manchester United going to sign when the transfer market does reopen? Because I think Solskjaer has still revealed that he wants to get a big summer spending spree. Because before Ed Woodward and that came out with this, we were supposed to be getting like £200 million to spend when the transfer market reopens. And Solskjaer so far at the football club has spent around £220 million. Yes, he spent around £220 million. Yes, he has in that. But like I've said to you, if I'd give Solskjaer next season, and if it doesn't work out next season, then I would get rid of him. Then I would recommend a new manager in, definitely. And a lot of fans have criticised Solskjaer this season, including me. I've criticised him when he's deserved to be criticised in that. But, we haven't really got the structure to keep sacking managers because Manchester United are not really known for a sacking football club, despite the fact, that we've sacked 3 managers since the Alex Ferguson era. Of course, we sacked David Moyes. He enjoyed 8 or 9 months with the football club. He's enjoyed the shortest tenure, as manager at Manchester United. We knew he was never going to, live up to expectations, or we knew he was never going to succeed at Man United because Moyes has never had a pedigree. But Ferguson was at the fault for ever recommending him in. But the main explanation why Ferguson recommended him in is because they was both Scottish. And for some reason, Ferguson had a lot of time for him at that point. And obviously, Van Gaal, he came in, like I said, he enjoyed 2 years at the club, won the FA Cup. Then after Van Gaal, Mourinho came in, enjoyed 2.5 years at the club and won 2 trophies in his first season, did Jose Mourinho. But I've already given you the main explanations why it didn't work out under Mourinho. But like I mentioned, there hasn't only been problems with the management throughout the course of this season. Like I said, United have been very, very critical of Ed Woodward this season. And for several years, we've been very, very critical of Ed Woodward, with his poor selection of managers, the amount of money that's, being put on players and stuff like that. He has been criticised for it. I don't think Ed Woodward's got any intentions of, appointing a director of footballing, like it said the other week. Ed Woodward's been at the football club since, 2012, so he has been here 8 years now. We've also been doubting the club's ownership, the Glazers. I think they've been here since 2005 of the Glazers, and I think they've taken over £1 billion out of the football club, since they came in. And that, and a lot of players, were not playing to their best, earlier on in the season and that. But yeah, I would stick with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer for now. But like I've said before, whether Solskjaer's managerial tenure at Man United works out or not, we'll never forget, what he's done for the football club because he was a great player for us for 11 years. He flourished under Alex Ferguson's guidance and all that. One of his, most iconic moments as a player was in 1999, of course, when he won the club the treble. And the treble is one of the club's greatest achievements in that, without a shadow of a doubt. Without a shadow of a doubt. Yes, it is in that. But yeah, very, very good player. He's inexperienced as a manager, Solskjaer. You can say that's an element of concern, but the longer he remains in the Man United job, he's going to be gaining more managerial experience because before he came to Man United, of course, he was at Mould. He won a couple of Norwegian titles with Mould. And obviously, before he was at Mould, he was at Cardiff. And Solskjaer's, record at Cardiff was absolutely disastrous. He only enjoyed a short tenure with Cardiff, did Solskjaer. I think he only managed like 29 games. But the main explanation why he got sacked from Cardiff, Solskjaer, was obviously because he got them relegated. And, we were facing a relegation battle earlier on in the season. But, there you go. We were facing a relegation battle. We were facing a relegation battle and that. But yeah, does deserve, more time at the football club. And, Solskjaer is planning to get rid of around 5 or 6 players when the transfer market does reopen. So we'll be hoping that we can generate around £100 million for the 5 or 6 players that we do get rid of. I've already gone through with you, the players that I think Manchester United will get rid of, already. Now, let me just quickly, give you some news on Eduardo Camavinga from Rennes, because I've just been reading reports just now, not too long ago, and it reportedly says that Manchester United have expressed an interest in Eduardo Camavinga from Rennes, also to Real Madrid, Barcelona, and I think it also mentioned that Juventus have been interested in the player. Now, stemming from the RMC, they reportedly said there's been no negotiations between Eduardo Camavinga's representatives. There's been no negotiations whatsoever. Now, Eduardo Camavinga is only at the age of 17, so he's very, very young. Now, he signed a new contract last summer with Rennes, so he's under contract with them until 2022, so now 2 years remain on his contract. Only broke into Rennes' first team last April of 2019, he broke into their first team, became the youngest ever player to play in Rennes' senior squad at the age of 16 years and 4 months old, did the player. But since he broke into the senior squad, he has been a revelation as the player. I think he's played around 30 odd games this season for Rennes in all competitions. So would you take him at Manchester United? I don't think Rennes have got any intentions of offloading the player. I think it would cost maybe in the 50 or 60 odd million pound range if Rennes were to offload him. But yeah, and Real Madrid have been in for Eduardo Camavinga for quite some time, and he's predominantly a midfielder. And don't forget, Manchester United are in search for a midfielder. So he's now another player on our agenda. We've been in for the likes of Donny van der Beek from, Ajax. Jack Grealish, James Maddison. I'm fully disregarding Maddison because it confirmed the other week that Maddison sees his long-term future with Leicester, and he insists that he's happy with Leicester. Obviously, Sancho. Obviously, it said the other week he could stay at Borussia Dortmund anyway before Ed Wood would come out of all this, because he says Dortmund, believe they can convince Jadon Sancho to sign a 1-year contract with them and make him their second highest paid player behind Marco Reus. We already know how much Sancho's going to cost us. He's going to cost us at least £100 million, is Jadon Sancho, maybe £120 million. Obviously, what he said last Monday, though, didn't it? Don't forget, that we'd agreed everything with Sancho except the fee. So that did, fuel a lot of speculation up. But that was obviously, coming from the Sun and all of that. So there you go. And that. But like I said, we have been playing catch-up for the last 6 or 7 years. But, we are still one of the biggest clubs in the world with a fantastic history. Fantastic fan base, most successful team in England, 20 titles, 13 of them Premier Leagues. And that. But Solskjaer won't replicate Ferguson's legacy. That's one thing I can assure. But no manager will replicate Alex Ferguson's legacy. Let's be honest. Obviously, Ferguson didn't win out in his first 4 years at the football club. We know when we first recommended him in. But look what he went and accomplished after not winning out in his first 4 years at Manchester United. We won, I think, a total of 38 trophies under the Alex Ferguson era, and Ferguson enjoyed like 26, 27 years at Manchester United and that. But Solskjaer, needs time. He won't be the next Ferguson, probably won't be the next Jurgen Klopp, but we just want to be back to being a competitive elite level football club. And the main ambition now is we do get qualification for the Champions League next season, so we've got better chances of getting players, that we do want in. So, I can't be any clearer than that, can I? But yeah, so that's mainly everything to update you with today, and I'm going to do another video later on, I'll be talking with you, probably a bit more about Paul Pogba. I may delve into some other teams' transfer news, I may talk with you a bit about Liverpool's, maybe Chelsea's transfer news as well, so do join me. So anyway, guys, drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always, and take care, God bless, and I'll see you all again very, very soon.